In this video, we're going to cover the form for the cow posture, some progressions, regressions, how to do it, and the biggest mistakes. So it's characterized by patience, also meditation. This is also termed as the Seiza pose, which is popular in Japanese culture. And in many other cultures, this is a resting position. So we want this to become comfortable, even on hard ground, but that's not where we're gonna start. So I'm gonna go over the main form things, the main form cues, and then go over the different progressions that we can utilize in this posture to get the best results. So I suggest you have a pad or something soft. A bed can be a little bit extra squishy sometimes, but like a firm pad is really the best. You can really get comfortable in this position. What we want is the heels to be out. So if you look here, the heels are out and the toes are in, creating basically a little spot for my butt to sit. And that is one of the most important things for the cow posture. We also want to eventually close this gap between the calf and the hamstring. But if we can't get that right now, some ways to get the heels out is to basically sink in with the hands. So if you look here, my hand is pushing the heel while my toes are touching together, and then I'm sinking down in between my heels, keeping my hand there. So just to add that side, keeping my hand there so there's a little bit of extra pressure. What we're aiming to do is open up this outside of the leg to the peroneals longus if you care about anatomy. Just sitting here is going to be a little bit of an exercise at first. It might not feel comfortable, and that's where we want to really breathe as we go through it. If you have trouble getting down, you feel like it's too tight on your knees, what we can do is just put a ball in between the ankles and then sit on that ball. The bigger the ball, the easier it is. But as you are like, oh, this feels really comfortable, you just get a smaller ball until you can get all the way down and we're feeling good. So that's how we do it. That's the base. Now we're gonna go over some variations with it. So the first one I use probably the most is the back extension cow. So we're here, hinging down and coming back up. So all the way down to the bottom, we can rest at this position as well. And we're kind of pulling our body back. This helps with the core flexion. And what we want to do is keep the butt as close to the heels while we're doing this. Oftentimes, when we first start, the core doesn't contract to keep ourselves back, so we end up looking like this. That's okay, because that's where we're starting, but we want to pull back more and more. What we can do is eventually get to the point where we're really sinking into the heels and then pulling back with our hands as we go through it, flexing the core, then coming back. We want to flex, as I said, the core, but also the hip flexors. So you're creating this compression in that bottom position. And that leads us right into the next variation, which is the hip flexion. So we're here and we're coming up into flexion. So you're feeling the core and the hips in here flex each time. This one is a little bit intense on the ankles. As you can see, there's quite a bit of stretch there, but about 20 reps and you will really feel that core. One thing that we want to make sure we're not doing when doing this one is bringing the butt up to go forward. You still feel it, still okay, but it's a much better exercise if we can just get the knees to come up and keep the core and upper body where it's at. After that, we have the rocks. So let me switch it this way. So for the rocks, we're going here and here, back and forth. What we're getting is extra stretch on the ankle that we're on. So right now my right is getting an extra stretch, and then my left is, show you from the other side. We shift here and then we shift here. We can even lift the butt up a little bit and really get the stretch if we want to reach over on each side. If you have a dumbbell in one hand, actually use this, you can just hold this stretch, really get comfortable on that one ankle, and then switch to the other. The next one is the tibialis variation. So we're here and we're flexing the toes into the pad or the ground. So think flat feet, just like in that normal position. And then you find this gap by basically doing this. So here and back. This one's very challenging to do. It's probably a little bit further along, but if you want to work the tibialis in this position, very beneficial. Boom, boom, boom. I actually love it. It's one of my favorite ways to work that front of the ankle. Biggest mistake with this one is actually the heels coming in as soon as you flex up. I'll show you. We don't want the heels here. We want them out here while you're flexing. So they're wide, they stay wide. They might come in a little bit, but not coming to that point. They're staying out and then flexing up as you go through it. Now we're on to back breathing. So for this variation, we're holding this bottom position like we did in the first with the back extensions. But now what we're working to do, because the core is so compressed against the legs, we are breathing into the lower back and then out. Something to help you get even deeper in this is while you breathe out the first few times, you're flexing the core. So you breathe in, and then as you breathe out, you flex the core to bring yourself even lower and deeper into the position. If I've ever gotten to where I feel completely curled up, it's because I've been doing this for quite a little while. And then I hold it, and I'm feeling the back open up when I breathe, and then close back up as I breathe out. It's probably the most underrated exercise for back health, because if you can't breathe through your back stiffens up extremely quick. All of these variations have two variations tied to them. And the first one is having the toes flipped up. So we can do all of these, except the tibialis one, with the toes flipped up, where we're going down, we're coming up, and everyone in between, the back breathing, stuff like that. So the toes up, you're doing the opposite of stretching out the front of the ankle with the other variation to now you're actually getting the plantar fascia. And then the other thing that we'll make a separate video on to go more in specifics, but with your hands, what we're aiming to do when they're on the ground is not just put them down like this, but we actually want the pinky and the ring finger to put pressure into the pad. And then the thumb is also gonna make contact. And then we have a rounding of this arm. So to show you at this angle, we have this rounding that goes from here, and then we're pushing through on the outside of the hand. This will give a little bit of stretch to that outside of the arm if it is tight. And then what we're trying to do is position the shoulders to where we feel a little bit of stretch and we can keep that pressure going through. As I said, there's gonna be another video on that, but it's good to cover when you do have your hands on the ground. Don't just have them there lazily, but actually get some results with that. All of these can progress with weight. But the problem is you typically run into the ground when you're trying to use weight. So you can do them on a bench, just like this, as I showed with the tilting with the dumbbells. You can use dumbbells or kettlebells and start really increasing the weight as you go through these motions. From here to here, you can flip toes up and do that. Same thing, you can do one at a time. This really works the core stability. But in general, doing them here is gonna get more work into the really deep positions. But I don't suggest you go here until you're fairly comfortable in this position. And again, I just shot this video in one go, and I've been here this whole time. When I started, there's no chance I could spend this much time in the cow, but it takes patience and you just work through it. You get more and more comfortable sitting here. And now I can basically sit here for kind of as long as I want. Sometimes I'll just write a whole article doing it. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll be making one of these videos for each of the postures, so you know how to utilize them and get these awesome results. So stick around.